to my channel. As you guys can see today, we've got an amazing guest, Chris.
Hi.
From Beijing. Hi, Chris.
Hi, everybody.
So Chris and I met in Beijing 4 years ago, and then we both moved to Europe. He is now living his best life in Munich, and I am currently based in London, as you guys all know. So we were catching up the other day, and we realized that we are both not working in our home countries. So we thought, why don't we do a video and share our life in terms of living abroad and working abroad with you guys. So here we are. So Chris, I know that yesterday actually is your birthday, is your 1 year anniversary since you moved to Munich, wasn't it? Congratulations.
Yeah, it's actually today. It's crazy. A year ago today, I literally packed all my stuff. I was going right into ambiguity. I didn't have a plan. I just basically had love at the center, at the core of everything I was doing. I jumped on a plane and I came over. I've gotten fired. I've gone through heartbreak. I've gone through like so many trials and tribulations. But I feel like today, a year later, I've gotten a new slate and I'm ready to take on Munich for real this time.
That's a beautiful story. And guys, if you want to hear more about why Chris moved to Munich, moved to Germany, make sure you visit Chris's channel. His channel is such an amazing space, and he has just shared his story of moving to Munich a year ago, and I've just watched the video. Love it. Absolutely love it. Check it out, guys. All right, so I've actually got some questions for us to share. Why don't we start by the thing we love the most when working abroad? What do you love the most, Chris?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you asked that because I've worked in, I think the only professional experience that I've had working was only in Beijing. I mean, I come from the United States, but I've worked in China, like in terms of professionally, like professional spaces. And I feel that what I like most about working in Europe, and maybe I'll ask the follow-up question in response, is I think that like people work to live, not live to work, right? I think in China you have this 996, which is like people work, what's it called? 9 hour, like every single day, 6 days a week and stuff. They only rest on Sunday. And I just feel like in China, in many ways, it's just really stressful. So I really do appreciate that aspect of European work culture. What do you think? Working in the UK and London, because London is its own ball game, right, compared to other cities in the UK.
Yeah, I would absolutely second that. And in fact, I think that's one of the motivations that I had when I wanted to find a job and started a career here. It's the work-life balance I've been hearing about, and I have observed from you know, interacting with my friends here. So I would definitely second that. And yeah, in terms of 996, I think it's true in some of the industries in China. It means starting from 9 a.m., finishing at 9 p.m., and then work 6 days a week. And you know what? I don't know if you heard about this, but 007, so 007, it's a new term, which means it's crazy, working from 0 to 0 o'clock to midnight, 7 days a week. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but it kind of shows something, right? It's crazy. So I think I'm definitely feeling very lucky that I'm working in London now. Although I have another favorite thing of my own, actually, apart from this work-life balance. I really enjoy feeling how new I am, because I moved here only 2 or 3 years ago when I was already 24, 25. So, you know, I was a grown-up and I moved to a completely different society. And I just always put myself in a newbie position. Wherever I go, whichever the team I work with, I can always position myself as a fresh pair of eyes, and that's really amazing in terms of what I learn and what I can share. Because, you know, if I know I'm new, and if people know I am new, I have so many questions to ask, they have so many things to explain, and also they're curious about my culture. So it's like a really good exchange level. So yeah, that's what I like the most. I think there's a lot of things to exchange.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Particularly coming from China. I think the workforce coming from China is like a culture exchange than you have in your workplace, right?
Yeah, well, we see things that we approach problems and challenges in a different way. So I think it's almost it's like standing in a neutral or middle point enables me to see both sides, and I feel like I grow much quicker and faster.
But I think you're naturally a workaholic, though. I feel like you thrive in these areas. For me, I get overwhelmed because I'm like, first of all, I'm the new guy who doesn't know how to do anything. On top of it, it's a new culture, and then on top of it, they have expectations, and I have probation to deal with. Like, these are too many things for me to handle, and I feel like I just get really stressed out. You take it as an opportunity. I take it as like, oh my god, can I do
You are
it?
being too humble. 你太谦虚了. It's
没有没有没有，真的 it's really difficult.
I mean, I kind of, you know, I kind of go between as well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's too much, but most of the time I see it as an extra opportunity, you know, so that I deal with the workload and stress better.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I think we both have very interesting experiences living in Europe.
I agree. Great. And then I guess, you know, hopefully lots of you guys who are watching our video are also thinking about moving abroad at some point, or you have just moved abroad. So Chris, why don't we share some, I don't know how to call it, top tips or just inspirations from us. So what would you say to people who are thinking about moving or working abroad, and especially during this a bit difficult, surreal situation these days?
It's difficult because I think with the obviously political tension and like COVID-19, so many people are just so focused on finding any source of stability that they can have, like they have, and holding on to it. So I think when we think about what you and I are doing, like moving abroad and going to a different country and stuff, like that's like risk taking. And I think a lot of people during these times, they're not going to be as willing to take risks. Yeah. But I mean, I think I heard from Chimamanda Adichie. She was one of my favorite authors. She's actually from Nigeria. And she basically said in a TED talk that she did that we won't regret the decisions that feel true to us. What I literally jumped over
I love
here.
That.
Yes, we won't regret the decisions that feel true to us. I mean, I didn't have any money. I had like 2,000 euros in the bank before I came here. I had no insurance. I mean, I had my partner here and everything, but I didn't speak any of the language. It was a completely new thing for me. And, you know, it's been rough, but throughout all the setbacks, I really don't think I regretted it. So I think in this particular time, make your plans, you know, learn the language, particularly speaking if you're not moving to a place like the UK or the US or like to Australia where you know, we speak English. Make use of this time. You can still get ready to move, even though it's going to be a longer process, but you can make more preparation elsewhere. You can network. I think you can also take advantage of language classes, Duolingo, you know, start to study how to get your CV and cover letter together in that country's format, the standard format. There's a lot of things that people can be doing before they actually book that flight. So I view it more as like, in terms of tips, you can make like the long goal would be to come abroad, but then like there's so many goals that you can accomplish within that like time frame that are equally as important as like buying a ticket and moving. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh my God, I cannot agree with more, because when I was thinking about this, you know, just right before we jumped in this, I was thinking about one word, which is motivation. So I thought for anyone who is thinking about going abroad, I think motivation is the most important thing to be sure of. And the thing is, motivation can come from lots of aspects, right? It can be objective. It can be because in your industry, in your subject area, a certain country is leading the way at the moment in the world, and you do want to pursue further in that aspect. This is very objective and very like, how to say, critical and analytical motivation, but it can be just very subjective. It can be very personal. It can be very emotional. So the motivation is there and you know it's there. So however you describe it, whatever it is, wherever it comes from, that's going to be the thing that helps you make up your mind. And more importantly, that's going to be the thing that keeps you going once you are here and you are going through challenging times and you know, some blockers hit you in your way, in your life. And that's going to be the one thing that keeps you going, because you will think back and remind yourself of why you are here in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Now, since we've talked about like our lives abroad and some of the problems and the culture differences, I wanted to ask you, Candice, do you think you'll move back? Like you've acclimated, you have a YouTube channel now. It's like you're really planting yourself in the UK. Now, you obviously have done a lot of risk taking, and you're a success story. Do you think you'll end up going back to China?
I don't know, and I don't mind either. But one thing I'm sure is no matter if I move back to China or I stay here until I retire, the connection will be stronger always. So wherever I'm based, I think I'm going to be, linked to both UK and China. In terms of where to settle, I don't know. At the moment, for the next 3 to 5 years, I'd like to say the UK is my place that I call home. Further down the line, I don't really know, but I'm sure that, the connection is going to be there. What about you? Same question back to you.
Yes, I think I don't know. I think you're right. I think the center, the core piece of, I guess, our existence will always be like back at home. And for me, I always want to have something to do with China, with Germany, and with the States. But when I think of a work culture that I really appreciate, I really do appreciate the work-life balance, as well as like the vacation days and stuff like that. So if I do go back to America, I have to find a really good position that's gonna let me work to live, not live to work.
Fair enough. Well, now with your growing YouTube channel, one day when you have 100 million subscribers, you can work wherever you want. You are everything we want to see. So that's
let's see. Let's do it together. We'll both be sipping pina coladas in Thailand, just living our best life.
I know.
Just with the hair that I don't have.
Love it. Subscribe, guys.
Yes, subscribe. The hair flipping. Come subscribe for more hair flipping.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for sharing the thoughts. And guys, if you're thinking about moving abroad, if you have been working abroad and you have some inspirations that you would like to share, do comment down below. We will be very, very interested to hear about your thoughts. And thank you again so much, Chris, for joining me today. Do it more often.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, guys. And listen, like she said, don't be afraid. You make those plans. You can still move abroad, okay? I hope you can draw more inspiration from Candace's channel. She's a lovely person, and I've learned a lot from her. So thank you so much for having me today, Candace.
Of course. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you very soon.
Yes, thank you. Bye. Ciao.